Boxing is different. Is it dead, or is it more alive than ever? Is it an art? Is it a sport? Is it a business? The answer is yes. Boxing is an art sanctioned as a sport, promoted by a business. Boxing's strengths are its weaknesses, and what people love about it is what people hate about it. Boxing fans criticize the sport, but will never let go. To fans, it's more than a sport. It's the sweet science. And it's called that for good reason. There are people who hate sports, but can admire boxing. Its simplicity makes it easy to understand. Its proficiency takes decades to obtain. It's both elegance and brutality. It's power and it's poetry. Boxing is a sport, but it's certainly not a game. It's first misunderstood because it is decentralized. There is no one governing body over boxing, like the NBA, NFL, or UFC. At first glance, this could be upsetting. We want more fights more often. This is where organizations like the UFC shine. They put on predictable cards and they put them on a predictable schedule. This benefits the fans and certainly benefits the UFC. But it's a detriment to the fighter. They have less control over their careers and are paid less for that reason. Boxing today is more beneficial to the fighter than ever before, and for good reason. Over the decades, we've seen legendary fighters underpaid by millions of dollars, all while literally putting their lives and the livelihoods of their families at risk. Today, boxing is more like music than it is other sports. Fighters are artists. All musicians don't operate on the same schedule, nor are they all controlled by one body. Artists put out content when they're ready. Some artists sign record labels and some self-promote. You don't like music any less, you're just more excited when your favorite artist is performing. And if that artist isn't performing at the time, you can watch another one if you so choose. Boxing works the same way. Similar to musicians, all boxers don't operate on the same schedule, nor are all boxers controlled by one body. Similar to artists, boxers fight when they're ready. You don't like boxing any less, you're just more excited when your favorite boxer is fighting. And if your favorite boxer isn't performing at that time, you can watch another one if you so choose. This also means that when a fighter isn't facing worthy opponents, fans can use their wallets and their viewership to let their disapproval be known. Similar to music, there isn't one governing body, but there are record labels. In boxing, there are promoters. Some boxers sign with promoters and some self-promote. Promoters today specialize in one thing: relationships. Specifically, relationships with network platforms. Networks both host the fights on their respective platforms, but they also invest money into the fighter if there are chances that the fighter will bring in more viewership. If you're an up-and-coming athlete, for example, you'd likely be interested in a promoter who promises that your performance would be shown on ESPN or Showtime. Some fighters fight exclusively on one platform through contract agreements, and some will go to whoever offers the most money for their next fight. Boxing is doing fine. It's alive and well. And how do you measure whether or not an industry is doing fine? Well, you follow the money. As angry as fans get with boxing, when it's all said and done, fans still want to see two supreme athletes scrap it out in the squared circle. Floyd Mayweather was right when he said, "Whether you pay to see me win or whether you pay to see me lose, either way, you're going to pay." The numbers show that he wasn't wrong. If you remember nothing else from this, remember this: boxing is an art, sanctioned as a sport and promoted by a business. And what people love about it is what people hate about it. Its strengths are its weaknesses. Boxing doesn't die because a fighter retires. It lives on because a new one always rises to carry the torch. And as much criticism as it receives, we are still willing to pay for the fights. Thanks for watching Poke the Bear. Stay tuned for more episodes. Please like and subscribe, and feel free to hang out after this show for this week's PTB 2-minute feature.
Been waiting on you since that day. Can you believe that? And Papa, you told me you would never leave me, but I never found where you were seated. I've been waiting on you since that day. My love ran away.